Okay, let's look at an Ubuntu team. An Ubuntu team fundamentally can achieve more than the parts put together. So, for example, if we think about a bunch of lions that are trying to hunt down a buffalo. That's our buffalo. It doesn't look much like a buffalo, but there's some ears, there's its nose, tail from top. It's running around. Now here's some lions, and these lions also don't look like lions. They automatically move, instinctively move in a dynamic fashion. That wherever the buffalo goes, the lions are going to move to make sure that the responsibility of the buffalo never falls upon one lion. Because if the responsibility of the buffalo falls upon one lion, they all know they don't eat. So therefore, they all move in a dynamic fashion. And this is one of the first signs of an Ubuntu team, is that they are very dynamic. And the result of being dynamic is that they can take down something far bigger than any of them could do on their own. Now in business, it's not a buffalo. In business, it's usually a financial target. If you're not for profit, it's perhaps a level of impact. But the vulnerability in business is that because we want to hold people accountable for their time and make sure they're doing their job, what we started to do through the years is to create divisions. So these are different departments, and every department, there's certain outcomes that they are responsible for. If you've done them well, tick, you've done a good job. If you've done them poorly, you haven't, and we'd have to performance manage you or perhaps train you or the like. Now, in an environment where we're trying to hunt down a buffalo or perhaps a massive target, if the buffalo or the responsibility for that one project, that one sale, that one deliverable moves towards one department, what you would see, like you would see from a lion if they had all the responsibility, is someone in shock. You find they break into a sweat, they're working till 10 p.m. at night, they're freaking out, they're worried about life, they're staying back, and it feels horrible and you can see them burning out. It's just too much. And you'll see this in meetings. If somebody's face drops, they start to realize they just got all the responsibility. In a dynamic environment, this person here would also move across to say, I will help in an Ubuntu environment, because they're not driven by a department or a specific task they've got to do. They're driven by a role and a contribution that they are meant to make. So how is it that we can get everybody to no longer think about these walls? Because where do these walls even come from? Well, these walls came from a fear that people wouldn't do their job. And people won't do their job, one, if they're lazy, but two, if they haven't been set up to do it. So how do we set up people to do their job without giving them these such specific rules? Well, what you actually want to do is you want to train them and performance manage them and appraise them and hold them accountable to just three things. In an Ubuntu team, there are three things that are alive, and that liberates talent. The first one is purpose. Everybody knows what the core purpose is. So example, in this situation, everybody knows their job is to take down the buffalo or we don't eat. This lion doesn't go, listen, you guys look after it. I'll go home, I'll come back tomorrow and eat. They all know, if they don't all do it, they don't eat. So what's the core purpose for an organization? Well, if you take somebody like Disney, they've got a 50-word mission statement. But if you take someone like Walt Disney, his was, make people happy. So once people know to make people happy, it's much simpler. First day on the job, haven't worked for Disney before. They say, we haven't got time to train you. You can read the mission statement, but that's probably a bit confusing. Just make people happy. Obviously that person's on it. A 3-word statement. Next, the organization always has a vision, a larger picture, an infinite growth. You look at Disney. Walt Disney didn't build a park, he built a land. It was infinite, it kept on going. So with the lions, once they know what the purpose is, what's the infinite growth? It's the extension of the pride. It's the continuous evolution and growth of this family. The last one is culture. What is the culture or the way that we conduct ourselves? What are the behaviors that we're going to have regularly, the way that we conduct ourselves that would liberate this vision and this core purpose? And if these things aren't in place, then walls go up. But when they are in place, the walls don't exist, because the success of an individual is not them looking after their department. The success of their individual is their contribution to the larger core purpose, whatever that is, and making sure that they continue to allow the vision and the expansion of whatever that purpose is. That's crash course to the Ubuntu team.